Hello everyone, Denise here. Today I am doing the Stitch in the Round for December 2022 for the Paying It Forward Friday. So this month for the round stitch, in the round stitch, I am going to be using Overjoyed yarn. This I picked up at Walmart. This is a bulky weight 5, calls for a 6 mm knitting needle, but I am using a 6.5 millimeter size K hook. This is 100% acrylic yarn. This is medium gray. It is 4.23 ounces, 120 grams, 157 yards, 144 meters. So this yarn is very nice and very affordable. If you have a Walmart near you, check it out to pick it up because I think it is worth the purchase. So I'm going to show you the stitch in the round. I am going to kind of briefly go over how you would start a hat, bottom up and top down, but I'm not going to complete the hat on video for time's sake. I will link below a couple of videos where I start a hat from the top down and the bottom up so that you can get a feel for how to start a hat however you would like to. So I will show you how I typically start a hat from the bottom up if I am doing a post stitch as a beginning. And in my last video for last month, I did make a hat bottom up that is in the, you make the brim band and then you join the brim band with the hat. You continue on and make the hat after you make the brim. But this one will be the front post stitch, front and back post stitches. I just need to find the end here. Okay, so if you're going to start a hat from the bottom up, you will need to start with a foundation chain that will fit around the head of the person that you're going to make the hat for. And if you're going to do the front post, back post stitches, you want to make it a little bit loose because the front post, back post stitches are going to bring in the band a bit. So how I do it is I measure it around my head, and if it fits around my head loosely, I usually go 1 or 2 chains more, and then I will join in the round and go from there. Now that is to fit my own head. If I'm making a hat for somebody else and I don't know their size, but I know their age, then I use a chart that I will put in the description box for you to go by. It's sort of an average size head chart for different ages. So I am going to make an adult hat. Hopefully there's enough yarn in this skein to do an entire hat. I think there will be, but I am just chaining in multiples of 2 until I get enough, and then I'm going to wrap it around my head and see what I think. So I'm gonna give it a whirl here. Now that just fits around my head tight. I don't want it tight. I'm gonna go ahead and do 4 more and then try again and see how that feels. Now my head is about 22 inches in circumference, and that is ever so slightly loose. I'm gonna go 2 more and then I will tell you what my chain count is. Okay, I was not counting, so I will count now. Make sure I have even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. I have 51 here, so I'm going to take 1 out. Okay, now we're going to join without twisting in the round. Now we're going to chain 2 to start our first round. Going to put a double crochet in each stitch around. It is your choice if you want to put it in the back bump or if you just want to put it in one of the loops. It does come out as a cleaner look if you go on the back bump, so I'm going to do that. One double crochet in each of the stitches all the way around, and I will meet up with you when I get to the end of this first round. All right, so I have made it all the way around my round. I have 50 double crochets. This first chain that we made does not count as a stitch, so we are going to slip in the top of our first double crochet. And for round 2, we are going to chain 2, and each round that we do this ribbing on the band will be exactly the same. So every round you will chain 2, and then your first stitch you will do a front post double crochet, and the second stitch you will do a back post double crochet, and then you will alternate between those two. You will do front, back, front, back, front, back, all the way around. So a front post stitch is like this. We yarn over our hook, we go around the post like this, and we yarn over and we pull the loop up. We finish off just like a double crochet. That's a front post double crochet. A back post double crochet is the same thing, only in reverse. We will yarn over and we go through our stitch this way. Yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like a normal double crochet. And we will alternate. Every other one will be front, every other one will be back. When you get all the way around to the end of your round, you will end on a back post double crochet, and then you will slip stitch to your beginning double crochet, your beginning post double crochet, front post double crochet. So when you get all the way around, you will slip stitch into this stitch right there at the front post double crochet. And then you can repeat this round as many rounds as you want. I typically go 2 to 3 inches for a band. For a beanie hat, if you want a much longer one to fold up, you sure can do that. It's your hat, you choose. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around this round. I will show you what I do when I start my next round and go from there. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what it is going to look like when you get to the end of the round. Your last stitch will be a back post double crochet, and then you will see the chain 2 here, and you're not going to work into that. You're going to slip stitch into the first front post double crochet, the top of that. Okay, and then so for each round after this, you do just like we did for last round. You'll chain 2, you'll put a front post double crochet in the front post double crochet, and a back post double crochet in the back post double crochets, until you have the amount of ribbing that you want on your hat. And then I will meet up with you probably after this round. For me, I think this will probably be enough, and also I want to make sure that I have enough yarn. So I will meet up with you in just a moment when I'm done with this round. All right, so at the end of however much ribbing you want to make on your hat, slip stitch into the beginning front post double crochet at the top, and then we will chain 1 and put a single crochet in the same stitch here, and put a single crochet in each of those stitches all the way around. So single crochet in the front post, single crochet in the back post, double crochets, 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around, and then I will meet back up with you after our single crochet round. At the end of that round, you will slip stitch to the beginning single crochet and then chain 3. You'll want to put a double crochet in that same spot here, and then we want to skip 1 single crochet and put 2 double crochets in the next. And we're going to do that all the way around. We're going to skip 1 single crochet and put 2 double crochets in the next, all the way around till we get the end of the round, and I will meet back up with you in just a second. Once you're to the end of that round, you will slip stitch into that beginning, chain 3, the top of the beginning, chain 3, in the next round you will slip stitch into in between those 2 double crochets, and you will chain 3 and put a double crochet in that same space. Now in this round we will be putting 2 double crochets in between these 2 double crochets all the way around, just like that. 2 double crochets in between the double crochets from the previous round. And we'll meet back up with you once I am done with this round. Alright, when we get to the end of that round, we will slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 and then slip stitch over to the middle of those 2 double crochets. Now we're going to do a cluster stitch, and we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do it's a double crochet cluster. We're going to double crochet 3 together. So when we first start our rounds, we are going to chain 2, yarn over, go into that space, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, go through 2. We have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, go in the space, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2. We have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 4, and then we're going to chain 1. We're going to do that in the middle of each of these double crochets all the way around. So yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, go through 2, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 4, chain 1. Going to continue that all the way around for this round. At the end of the round, I will meet back up with you to show you how to do the next round. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, once you're to the end of that round, you will slip stitch into the top of your cluster stitch here. Now we're going to work on the next round. This next round we're going to be working in between these cluster stitches. So to begin, we're going to slip stitch over to this space right here. We're going to chain 1 and put a single crochet in that same space. Now we're going to chain 2, skip over this cluster stitch, and go into this space in between the 2 and do a single crochet. Chain 2, single crochet in between, chain 2, single crochet in between. We're going to do that all the way around for this round, and I will meet back up with you in just a minute. Okay, at the end of this round, we will slip stitch to our beginning single crochet here. And then we are going to put 2 double crochets in each of these chain 2 spaces. So I'm going to slip stitch over to that chain 2 space, and then I am going to chain 3, and that's going to count as a double crochet, and then I'm going to put another double crochet in that space. I'm going to go over to this chain 2 space and put 2 double crochets into it. I'm going to do that all the way around for this round. I will meet back up with you once I get all my double crochets put in each of my chain 2 spaces all the way around. I'll see you in a minute. All right, once you have all your double crochets put in your chain 2 spaces, you will slip stitch to your beginning chain 3, and then we're going to repeat what we did down here, and that is to slip stitch over into the middle in between these 2 double crochets. We are going to chain 3 and put another double crochet in that same space, and then we're going to put 2 double crochets in the middle of each of these sets of double crochets all the way around, and then however tall, long you want your hat, go ahead and keep repeating the rounds that we just did until you have your measurement that you want to either decrease or cinch the top shut. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to decrease my hat. This actually is a great time to decide if you want to do a slouchy hat. A slouchy hat is roughly from the brim edge to the top of your hat around 11 inches, depending on how much you want it to slouch, but 11 inches is a good approximate measurement. And if you want a regular size beanie, go ahead and follow the sizes that I have left in the description box for the general sizes for brim to crown. On those, for an average adult female, it would be about 8.5 inches for brim to crown. So just keep working your hat until you get to those measurements that you're looking for, and then I will meet back up with you when I'm at mine to show you how to decrease. Okay, so I'm at 7 inches on my hat. I'm going to start decreasing, and typically the way I do that on any hat from the bottom up is to either skip stitches or make stitches go together. So like a double crochet 2 together, half double crochet 2 together, single crochet 2 together. So on this, I have completed a round of the cluster stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 1 on this, and I'm going to the next row of this pattern would be the single crochet in between 2 cluster stitches and then chain 2. So I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to chain 2. So I'm going to put a single crochet in between the first 2 cluster stitches, and then I am going to only chain 1. Now that will make less of fabric for the top of the hat, so it will pull in just a little bit. So just going to chain 1 in between instead of the 2 that we normally would do, all the way around for this round, so that we can start bringing the hat in, because we don't want the hat to be too tall. I want this one to be 8 inches from brim to crown approximately. So that is my goal. Whatever your goal is on your hat, you do as you need. So typically when I decrease on a hat, I will do a round or a row of decrease, and then the next round or row I will do just a normal stitch row, so no decreasing. So depending on the stitches, the next round for me on my hat will be no decrease. Then I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet there. So for this round, the pattern would be the 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, but we don't have a chain 2 space this round because we have made it a chain 1. So I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to put a double crochet in that same spot there. And then I'm going to find the next chain 1 space. So this is a single crochet, this is the chain 1. I'm going to put 2 double crochets in each chain 1 space. And that way we are still working in pattern, but we are cinching in a bit, so we are decreasing. So 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces that you made last round. And I will meet up with you in just a moment. Okay, so then we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first chain 3 here. I'm going to take a look at the hat at this point. Make sure we are going in at the top, and it sure looks like we are. So I'm getting close to 8 inches, so I have at least 2 to 3 rows to do here. So I think the next round, instead of doing another set of the double crochets, I think I'm going to do another round of single crochet stitches so that I can bring it in sooner. So since this round was just a normal round, I'm going to do the next round as a decrease. However, instead of doing the double crochets, I am going to do another round of the single crochets like we did previously. So I am going to slip stitch over to the space in between those sets. I'm going to chain 1 and put a single crochet there. And I am going to, instead of chaining 1, I need to move my yarn. Instead of chaining 1, I am going to go ahead and decrease a quicker amount by putting a single crochet in between each of those spaces. So single crochet, and now no chaining 1 there. Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. Just putting a single crochet in between each of those sets of double crochets. And then we will take a look at it and see how much that brought it in, because that probably will bring it in quite a bit. Because I am quickly running out of yarn and I want to make sure that I can finish the hat with one ball of this yarn. So this looks like where we started. Check my end here. Yeah, it is. So I'm just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. All right, now I'm going to lay it down and look at it. Yeah, that helped quite a bit. So now we're coming in quicker at the top, which is what I wanted to do. So the next round would be, if we are going to make the hat follow pattern, it would be another would be another round of the double crochet stitches, and then the one following would be a cluster stitch. So I will probably do that. I will probably follow that, but in between each of those rounds I will probably do a row of the single crochet. So for this round I am going to chain 3, put a double crochet in that same spot, and we don't have chain 1s this round. We didn't chain 1 on our last round, so we don't have those. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 2 double crochets in the top, which looks like the top of each of our double crochets here. So the stitch that's right above the double crochets, I'm going to do those. And no, it's not exactly like in the pattern, but that's okay. It will look that way. Slip stitch into the top of your beginning chain 3. Let's take a look. So this next round, I'm going to go ahead and deep decrease. So I'm going to extra decrease on this round, and I probably won't do a round of cluster stitches just because it's going to end up being too bulky at the top. So I am going to slip stitch over into this space in between, chain 1, and do a single crochet there. Now I'm going to single crochet 2 together. So how you do that is you go into whatever stitch or space, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch or space, which I'm going to go over here on the other side of this set of double crochets. Then you yarn over and go through all 3. That is a single crochet 2 together. So I'm going to do that again. Go into the next space, pull up a loop, go into the next space, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. Next space, loop, next space, loop, yarn over, go through all 3. Now we're decreasing rapidly as to cinch up this hat more quickly. Sorry if I just moved the camera. Okay, I'm gonna see how close I am because I am awfully close at the top here that I could just cinch that. So let me take a look. Yep, I could go ahead and cinch that up. So what I will probably do instead of cinching it for this round is just do a round of single crochets so that it is easier and looks more finished. So I'm going to chain 1, single crochet in that same space here. And then in each space that I see around, I'm gonna single crochet in them. Single crochets here, so I'm going to slip stitch to the beginning, and then I'm going to leave quite a bit of tail here to cinch up, and I'll show you how much yarn I have left. Not much, probably enough to do a pom-pom. I might do that, mix it with some white, that'd be cute. I'm going to pull through, and then I'm going to get a needle here. And weave in and out of my stitches. So I just go into the next stitch, weave back and forth like a drawstring bag. So there you have it. I think I will put a pom-pom on the top. It will hide a little bit of that funkiness from our decreasing. I want to bring in my other hat that I had started in the mint green. The mint green is not done, but I need to work a few more rounds, and then I will come back to you and I will just cinch the top of this one so that you can see that, and then I'll go over real quickly on how to do a hat from the top down with this stitch. So I'll be right back. All right, so I have the hat, I think it's around 9 inches now. Yeah, very close to 9 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off a length of yarn and then go ahead and weave in and out and cinch the top shut on this one. That is essentially what you would do for a cinched top hat. You just work to the measurement that you like, and then you cinch the top shut, and then you have sort of this bunched top here. But once you put it on a head, I'll show you on my mannequin head over here. That's what it would look like. So that is an easy way to do it. Let me put my camera back now. Okay, so a top-down hat, any top-down hat, you can start with either working single, half double, or double crochet in the round. You would start with your first round as your base stitches, so you would I always pick an even number, always, and then I work from there. If you are needing an uneven number for a stitch pattern, when you get to your last round to meet your measurement, then just add a stitch and you'll have an odd number. So depending on how many you need, you can count and decide and go from there. But it's very, very simple. So what I do when I am starting any top-down hat, I usually do mine in double crochet unless the pattern looks better with something smaller, because double crochet goes quick. So I start with a magic circle, and this is how I do my magic circle. Just make an X on my fingers, put my hook in, grab a loop of yarn, reposition so that I'm holding my working yarn in this hand. I hold the string to the loop, I chain one to secure that magic loop, and then I go ahead and just start working. For a double crochet, I would go ahead and chain 3 and then double crochet right into that same ring or loop. Go over both of those strings. Just work your double crochets in around those 2 strings and make as many stitches as you need to. Okay, so what do I have here? 2, 4, 6. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I will stop there for my round 1. Then I cinch it shut and I slip stitch to the beginning, whatever chain it is. Now this is how I do it. For every round that I do, I will measure the diameter of the hat. Okay, clearly this is not going to fit very many humans, but this is about 1.5 inches. So for the method to find out who it's going to fit, you would take a calculator or your phone, which has a calculator on it. Make sure you can see that. You would take 1.5 times 3.142, which is pi, and that gives you a circumference. So that would be 4.713. So 4.7, a little over 4.5 of a circumference for a hat. So since that is not pretty much big enough other than for a micro preemie, teeny tiny preemie, I would go ahead and do another round. After each round, I would measure the diameter. Whatever the diameter is, I would take it times 3.142, which is pi. That gives you a circumference. Once you meet the circumference that you need, do not increase anymore. So for a newborn, I would probably do another round and then I will measure it. So I always chain 2 when I'm doing a hat, and I do not count that as a stitch. For this hat, I would put 2 double crochets in that same space as the chain 2 and 2 double crochets in each all the way around. And this is how I increase any hat top down, unless I am working in a specific pattern, a stitch pattern. But like I said, you can use this method and you can get to your measurement, and then once you start doing the body of your hat, you can use whatever stitch pattern you want. You don't need to just keep working in double crochets or single crochets or half double crochets. You can start in a stitch pattern after that. We started with 10 stitches on this one, so I should have 20 stitches at the end of round 2 here. And then I will measure it. So when I get to the end of my round, instead of going into this chain 2, I slip stitch into the first double crochet, and that gives it a nice filler so there are no gaps on the back of your hat. So we have 3 inches for our diameter. We would take 3 times 3.142, which is pi, and that gives us a circumference of 9.426, so almost 9.5 inches. So we're looking at a preemie size at about then. And like I said, I will leave all of the sizes, general sizes, in the description box so you have a great idea of what size is approximately those measurements. So I would keep going if I was making a larger hat for a larger size human. I would chain 2 on the 3rd round of this double crochet beginning of a hat. I would do 2 stitches in the first space as the chain 2, and then I would do 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch, all the way around. And that way, once you get the hang of making hats this way, you get really, really good at knowing when to stop increasing and start doing your sides. Especially if you work with a lot of the same weight of yarn, you'll know, well, I need to go to round 4 and then I'm usually at a good size for X size. So it's just a matter of continuing to do the same thing over and over, and then you'll get to memorize what round it is that you stop working on. Everybody is different. We all have different tensions. I crochet very loosely compared to my daughter. She is a very tight crocheter. My soon-to-be daughter-in-law, she's in between, I would say, me and my daughter as far as tension. So everybody is different. Slip stitch to the first double crochet, not the chain 2. And then I would lay it out. I'm guessing this is going to fit a newborn. 4.5 inches. 4.5 times 3.142. 14.139, so a little over 14 inches. So a smaller newborn, but there will be a lot of stretch in this hat, so it could be for a newborn easily. So that is how you increase. So you would just do the next round. If you were doing a larger hat, you would do chain 2, 2 stitches in the first space, same as the chain 2. You would do 1 double crochet in the next, 1 double crochet in the next, 2 double crochet in the next, and follow that all the way around. Then you would remeasure. It probably, for me, would fit 3 to 6 months. So let's just say I am making this for a newborn, and I want to start working in the pattern that we have been working in the stitch for this month. I would stop here and stop increasing, and then the first round of the pattern is the 2 double crochets together. So I'd go ahead and I would start that. I would do chain 3, put a double crochet in the same spot, skip 1, and then put 2 double crochets in the next. Skip 1, 2 double crochets in the next, and then start the pattern all over, just like we started when we did the bottom up hat, except now we're going top down. Once you get to the measurement that you want for the length from your crown to brim, you would do some sort of brim. You would do like I did to begin with, you do front post, back post double crochets. You could do a simple ribbing and then attach it, or some people just do single crochets for a ribbing. Some people, I mean, there's a million different ways to do a hat, but my personal favorite is the front post, back post. I think it looks the best. It feels the best for me. And size-wise, it's very generous because it does have some stretch to it still. So that is how you would do a top-down hat with a stitch pattern. You would just reach the size that you need and then go ahead and start in with a stitch pattern. Slip stitch to the top of your chain 3, and then you're off rolling on the stitch pattern for this month. So I'm not going to make the entire hat because this video is already getting very long and it makes it harder to upload the longer it is. So I will leave you for today. I hope you enjoyed making hats with me. You can make cowls with this in the round. You can make fingerless gloves with this in the round. If I was making a fingerless glove, I would probably go ahead and use one of these rounds as the thumb hole. So it's very easy. It's very easy to modify this for projects in the round. So if you want to make a matching cowl for your hat, go ahead and make it exactly like you would the hat, except if you want it a little larger than hat size, go ahead and keep chaining multiples of 2 until you get to the size that you would want. Work it all the way in the round. You can do a ribbing if you want, or you could just start up with working the stitch pattern in the round and then finish it off with a single crochet edging. It's all up to you. All of this is up to you because it is your projects. So next week for the Paying It Forward Friday, instead of showing you my makes, because I mean I've made the things in front of you, so it's not going to be a surprise. Since I am crunched for time this month, I am still making gifts. So I will not be doing a show and tell for the month of December for the Paying It Forward Friday. Instead, I thought I would probably take pictures or video of me donating them, so to speak, downtown in the local area, the town next to us. They have statues of presidents, and from October to March, we are allowed to dress them up any way we would like, with hats, scarves, coats for the needy, for the community. And so I did this a few years back before COVID, and I would like to do it again. And this Sunday, we're looking at very warm weather, and then next week a snowstorm. So I would like to get all of the items that I have made thus far this year for donation, and possibly other ones that I find going through my stuff that I want to donate, and then go put them on the statues. Now the statues are blocks and blocks and blocks of the city. So I would not do video of all of it, but I will possibly take some pictures to show you what a couple of them look like, and give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And if I'm feeling, a certain kind of way, maybe I'll be in one of the pictures. We'll see. Yeah, I just thought I would share that with you instead of showing you my makes, because this essentially is my makes for the month. I have 2 hats and a dishcloth. So the dishcloth I will probably donate to myself and use in my kitchen, and the hats will definitely go on some statues, and I'll probably add some pom-poms to them as well. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Keep a lookout for a short video, at least of what I am doing with my donated items for this year. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas if I do not post before Christmas, and Happy Hanukkah, and whatever happy anything that you celebrate. Spread some joy. We all need a little joy in our lives. It's always wonderful to see someone smiling at you, so try to smile at others and spread some light in this world. We need that. So take care, everyone. I appreciate you. And until next time, guys.